Hi there, friends. Welcome to a very special Shozy Z video. This is a very long-awaited one, and I apologize profoundly. Somebody asked me about it a while back, and I thought the video had been uploaded, not realizing that the pictures were lost because of my phone issue. And this picture is, so I grabbed all the photos that I could that I had left from my Instagram. And this picture right here is the back of one of the vampires from young Dracula. This is this doll had some, he had some staining on him. So I went ahead and covered the staining with some tattoos. So that's what this is. Before we go any further, I want to show you that this is what my phone actually kept. If the top upper left, you can see it says 2019. These are my piggies. The bottom, it says 2021. It skipped, as you can see, 2 entire years of not only pictures, but all my data on my phone. All my songs that I wrote and recorded on my phone. All my data, all my messages, tons and tons of stuff you wouldn't believe that I'll never be able to retrieve. Voicemails from my son, just tons of stuff. It's irretrievably gone forever. And people say, why don't you keep stuff in the cloud? Well, you know what? Your data is exposed in the cloud. And they're like, oh yeah, well, it's not really, and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, it is. And now I pay for a cloud service, but I don't like it. I don't like to be beholden. So I'm trying to get, as soon as I do a video, I erase all my stuff and get it off of my phone and put it on my external hard drive, because that's where I feel safest keeping it. So I just wanted to show you this photo. It's kind of sad. Okay, so before we go back to Vlad, which is the son, I started out with the count. Oh, I should have started out with the main dolls themselves, and I'm going to jump back in a second. But this was the count after he was completely finished. Now wait till you see before he was completely finished, okay? And this is a Madame Alexander doll, and I had to re-wig and everything. And then behind him, and it was a challenge getting the skin white, and you think, oh, it doesn't look that, but it was like a peach colored, and I had to use pan pastels, and then I worked with a seamstress to create a bunch of clothing pieces, individual pieces for them, like what he's got on. It's actually a cape that she made specifically. She made 2 capes and all kinds of individual pieces, and we worked all continuously on these pieces to get them just right. And then behind him is Renfield, and Renfield is a character that's consistently throughout the Bram Stoker's Dracula's empire. You've read about Renfield time and time again. Well, this was a crazy character, and so I took an old AG doll, which was Graham. He was my Graham, who I loved to pieces, and he never had hair, and so I thought, no, you're Graham, you are now my my new Renfield. So this is the doll before. On the left, this is what she looked like before, and I took all of her hair off, and then I changed her into him on the right, and you can see the color changes, and it's not the lighting, it's actually the skin tone change of layers and layers of sealant and pan pastels. I mean, it just layers and layers and layers and layers of that. It took a long time, and then I put teeth in. I'm like, oh, those look stupid. So I took them out. I scraped them out very carefully with a toothpick, and then just redid his lips so that he didn't look retarded. Sorry, use that word again. It's not a good word, but so he didn't look ridiculous. Okay, let's put it that way. And then I needed a shiny shirt for him because he needed to look slimy and slick. And and he always wore, in the Young Dracula series, he always wore very like vintagey type of cool clothes. And they were kind of period pieces, but he also wore some really hip pieces too. So she recreated a couple things for me that were really, really cool. And this was one of the shirts. And then I think he has a pair of pants on too. But you can't really see the pants. But the wig was perfect. The glasses were perfect. I bought those off a friend of mine. And I just love the way he looked. The wig was really hard to get on him, and I had to go around his hairline with some, some color to fill in, because it was really tough so that you didn't see his little bristly pieces sticking out, because the wig did not fit him perfectly. Their heads are a little bit bigger on this particular Madame Alexander sculpt. It's an older sculpt. And then last but not least, this is him peeking over his glasses at us. And you can see where I tried to blend in on the top of his head. I think it looks a little bit natural right there. Like he has hairs coming out, so that's kind of good. And his eyebrows, his very thin kind of like, looking up at you like, what are you talking about? Because he's kind of a very sardonic character, and I absolutely love his name is Keith something or other, and I want to say Richards, but I know that that's not correct. But he's an amazing actor, and I think he's a musician as well. And he played this part just impeccably, and he was sardonic and humorous and frightful sometimes too. So it was really, really that fine line. It was really amazing. Okay, so then we'll go on to the least favored, I guess, of the three of them, which was Ingrid. And you can see from the left, this was again, a Madame Alexander doll. She was really pretty, and except my Ingrid had blue eyes, and in the film or the series version, I think she has blue eyes. But this is the doll that I use. This is the doll I absolutely wanted to use for this particular makeover, and so this is the one I use, because sometimes you have to use what you have on hand, A, and B, I loved her hair, the doll's hair, and this is what I went with. And then on the right side you can see her makeover, and I really liked her makeover, and she was, again, really intensive. It was a really intensive change. It took days. This wasn't like, oh, I'll get it done in a night. No, this was like days and days and days. It was like a full week and a half, I think, or more, to get, and this was me working on them constantly, every night after work, to get them changed from their peachy colors to like white. And so I really liked her change in particular. And then last but not least is Vlad. Now, Vlad again is Madame Alexander doll. I did use Madame Alexander's for the three because those were the dolls that I had on hand. Those are the dolls that seemed to me to look the most like the characters. And they had mobility in their necks and so forth. And I really liked that. And also, I could work with their hair. The hair was a big, huge, hairy deal. No pun intended. And those are the dolls that I had on hand at the time. So that's what I used. But Vlad was really tough for some reason to work on. The doll was damaged as far as his skin tone went. He was really difficult to work on, and so this was not the final product. And then his hair was the wrong color. It was a deep like golden red color, and so I ended up like painting his hair, I think. And then I ended up going back and adding. I wasn't happy with the way that his face looked, because he had the character on the TV series actually had angles, and because he was growing up through the TV series, he went from a little boy to a young adult, and so he had a lot of angles to his face, and so I wanted more of that as well. And so I went back and kept playing with his face, because you can see the face is very like it looks chubby here, like there's just like cheeks and that's it. And I wanted angles. I wanted him to look like a boy. And so, man, I went like overboard on the angles. Plus, I wanted him to look dark, deep, dark, and scary, because as this character was growing up, he went from a really sweet, like, I don't want to be a vampire, to, I'm a vampire. You know, he went he went really deep. And so I wanted to portray that as well. So here he comes. Okay, first of all, here they are together, Vlad, and he has an Aussie shirt on, which I love the Aussie shirt, and I completely forgot that Wizard Fashions created this particular shirt for me, because I'm like, he needs a shirt. He needs a really cool shirt. And Aussie is like, yes, totally. It was either Power Man 5000 or Aussie, and I'm like, Aussie, hands down, because this particular shirt was it was like from his, what album was it, Dreamer album or something like that. Anyway, I'm like, yes, the graphic on this shirt is like is perfect. It's just, yes, it's yeah, that's what I want to see. And I had painted his hair. I put like, you know, his put his piercings in. I hadn't really started 100% on sculpting his face the way that I wanted it to be, you know, like the shadows in his face. So he still looks sweet here with his sister, Ingrid. And Ingrid was pretty much done at this point, except I didn't like her necklaces. I'm thinking, she's got silver on. Vampires, according to their lore, can't wear silver. And I'm thinking, okay, I have to remove the silver. This is not going to work. So in the next you'll see what they look like after, in a couple of in a couple more pics here. Okay, so this is where he gets deeper and darker, because I really wanted him to start, you know, this is it. I was like, this is where he's getting darker. And here's his little girlfriend, and I think her name was Erin. And you've got to watch the show if you haven't already. You know what happens to Erin. And they were very, very sweet together at one time, so that's really cool. And then he's got the vest on. I had the vest made specifically for him too. And I think he's got some kind of a necklace on, because it was important that he had a necklace. So, you know, he's just gotten, and I wanted his hair to go back. I didn't want it to come forward, because he would have looked really cool with his hair forward. However, because he had there was one picture of him that I really, really liked, of the character that I based this doll off of. His hair was up and back, and I thought, ooh, that looks really good, and that's what I want. That's what I was going for. So I know he's got a really high forehead here, but this was important that I had his hair back. And this is the photo of all four of them. Ingrid, the Count, Vlad, and Renfield. And Renfield, yes, he does have an apron on, because in a lot of the scenes, he was always cooking up some kind of craziness, either in his laboratory or the kitchen. So it just made sense for Renfield to have the apron on. And so And the Count is always taller, but I didn't put platforms on his shoes. And this shows the height, at least between him and growing Vlad, because there is a power struggle eventually between the two of them. So I guess that just kind of shows. But he has this incredible robe on that we went back and forth about. And it was more patterned and heavy. I'm sure the robe that he wore in the series. But this was as close to material as she could find, and I thought it worked out really well. And then the dress was specially made for Ingrid, and then she's got the deeper, darker like chain necklace on rather than the silver, and you can see her skin, and that's what's showing through. So I removed the silver from her altogether. And so this is it. And he's standing next to his throne chair, basically. The Count is, because he was always sitting on his throne. It was important to him to have that around. So this is them, and now I'll show you the real actors. Not a huge clear picture, but you can see the robe that the Count was wearing, and he is a little taller than Vlad, and Vlad does have the vest on, and you can see the like chain necklace that Ingrid has on, and see his hair, Vlad's hair, it's up and back. And so anyway, this is kind of in his graphic tee there. I wanted to, and I couldn't imitate it exactly because, you know, this is a BBC show. So anyway, this is the one shot, and then here's the other shot of Renfield in it. Oh, goofy Renfield. So that's it for me. Hopefully you liked the young Dracula dolls that I created. I really had a blast making them. I did create them in the summer of 2020. I made, like I said, like 50 dolls that summer, and these were 4 of them. It was the spring of 2020, one of the two. These were 4 of them that I made, and they were really super fun to make. It was a real learning curve for me with the artists' you know, materials that I was working with. That was the first time I'd used some of these pieces that I, you know, was utilizing, and it was a real eye-opener on how to use them and how much, and you know, the length of time it took to use these items. So it was fun. It was really, really fun. And those dolls are sitting in a box, and I need to make them their own little happy home. So one of these days they will be displayed, and then I'll do a tour. So thanks so much. Thank you for being patient with me. You guys are the best. I'm telling you. Take care. Thank you for watching, for hitting the notification bells. You know when new videos are going to pop up. For subscribing, because you know you want to. And thank you for my long-term subscribers. You guys are totally awesome. For leaving prudent comments. And you guys just take care.